On Saturday afternoon, Trump wrote the following on Truth Social. If Iran doesn't fully open without threat the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours from this exact point in time, the United States of America will hit and obliterate their various power plants, starting with the biggest one first. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and he signs his name. According to the Council on Foreign Relations, that is considered a war crime. Iran did not comply with Trump's demand. This morning, Trump stated, I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East. I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions. Now, the Jerusalem Post reported that according to an anonymous source, the Trump administration was negotiating with Iran's parliamentary speaker. But that individual came out and denied the report. Writing here, Iranian people demand complete and remorseful punishment of the aggressors. All Iranian officials stand firmly behind their supreme leader and people until this goal is achieved. No negotiations have been held with the US, and fake news is used to manipulate the financial and oil markets and escape the quagmire in which the US and Israel are trapped. And we'll have more on allegations of market manipulation in the next story. In the meantime, let's talk about the other absurd claims that Trump is making. In the span of just 1 day, Trump stated that he achieved his goal of regime change in Iran, proposed that he could control the Strait of Hormuz, and claimed that Iran has abandoned their nuclear ambitions. Let's watch.
Mr. President, Iran's foreign ministry says you're not telling the truth when it comes to productive conversations to end the war.
They're going to have to get themselves better public relations people. We have had very, very strong talks. We'll see where they lead. They called. I didn't call. They called. They want to make a deal. And we are very willing to make a deal. It's got to be a good deal. And it's got to be no more wars, no more nuclear weapons. They're not going to have nuclear weapons anymore. They're agreeing to that. Any of that stuff is no deal.
And if they don't go well, sir, and you target...
You said you want to get the enriched uranium. How are you going to get the enriched uranium? Are you going to send...
Very easy. If we have a deal with them, we're going down and we'll take it ourselves. They're not going to have a nuclear weapon. That's number one. That's number 1, 2, and 3. They will never have a nuclear weapon.
You said yes to that?
They've agreed to that.
What about the Strait of Hormuz? Who's going to be in control of that?
That'll be opened very soon if this works.
How soon? And who's in control of it? Will Iran still be able to control the flow of oil?
Be jointly controlled.
By who?
Maybe me.
The president went on to say or insist that this is regime change because it's totally different people that were involved in the last regime. I would imagine some of the people are the same.
Just utter disbelief from a relatively objective observer there. But according to a Dropsite News contributor, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are in Islamabad for talks with Iranian officials. That's according to their sources. And they add, I don't mean to imply here that the Iranians are talking with them. If my sources are correct, then it looks like these two have parked themselves in Islamabad, waiting for someone from the other side to take the bait. So Cenk, are they just sitting around in a hotel hoping someone shows up to negotiate?
That is actually possible, yeah. So look, well, let's talk about what we know and what we don't know, right? So first, there's 3 major lies here that you alluded to. Let's explain those. US is currently negotiating with Iran, Trump says. Well, not only are the Iranians denying that in every way, but Trump's team and Israel seem to imply that he was negotiating with that guy from the parliament that Jordan read you the tweet from. He's saying, no, we look forward to delivering devastating consequences to you guys. We're not interested in negotiations. That's been their government position from day one. And and there is no one across from Witkoff and Kushner in Pakistan. So the facts seem to speak for themselves. Now, it's not impossible that they went to Pakistan for some sort of secret negotiations. That does happen from time to time. So it's not out of the question, right? But it certainly doesn't appear that Trump is telling the truth there based on all available evidence. Okay, but when you get to the other parts, it becomes clear who's the pathological liar here. So as you saw in that clip, maybe we'll jointly control the Strait of Hormuz. And maybe it'll be me who controls it. That's not a thing. So we have nothing to do with the Strait of Hormuz. We don't have a country near it. We don't have the right to control it. Iran is saying we don't even want to negotiate with you guys, let alone get to a peace deal, let alone get to a peace deal where we give up the most valuable thing we have, which is control over the Strait of Hormuz. This is all fantasy land, 100% made up by Donald Trump's mind, and then let alone, Iran, which is super pissed and has a strategy for this war to extend further, and we'll tell you why in a little bit, is suddenly gonna give up that strategy and go, you know what? We got a great person to lead the Strait of Hormuz, it's Donald Trump. Like if you believe that, you will believe literally anything, right? That isn't within a billion planets of true. So then, Iran has decided to give up all of its nuclear, really? Then the war, I guess, is over. Iran has said no such thing at all. So all three of these things, negotiating with Iran, Iran has decided not to pursue nuclear weapon or energy. Trump could control the Strait of Hormuz, preposterous lies. You know when you're building something from the ground up, the to-do list never ends. When I started TYT, it wasn't just what if no one watches, it was also how am I supposed to handle the business side while also creating a show? That's really hard. In those moments, you realize you can't do it alone. You need a real partner. For us, that partner for our Shop TYT store is Shopify. And honestly, I wish I had something like that from day one. They've been a terrific partner for us. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US. That's amazing. And it's built to tackle every single one of those worries that keep you up at night. What if you run out of ideas for your product pages? They've packed the platform with helpful AI tools. You can generate product descriptions, write page headlines, or even enhance your photography with just a few clicks. And my picture needs to be enhanced. It's like having a creative director in your pocket. And of course, what if people get to checkout and change their minds because they have to enter all that information? That's the worst, but Shopify has that iconic purple shop pay button. It's faster, it's trusted, and it's why they have the best converting checkout on the planet. Fewer abandoned carts means more sales actually going through to you. It's time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/TYT. Go to shopify.com/TYT. That's shopify.com/TYT. Jordan, we're gonna get into different possible reasons that he's saying this. The markets are obviously a huge part of it. This news comes out on a Monday morning right before the markets open. Oh, we got this thing under control. And guess what he said, how long it would take for them to wrap up the negotiations. 5 days until the markets close again, right? So we'll get more into that in a second. But Jordan, I mean, this is embarrassing. And are we supposed to debate this? Or like, what do we do with this? Like, I'm sure I'm gonna be forced into a debate on it. I'm gonna go on Piers Morgan or somewhere else, and they're gonna say, okay, is it possible, like I'm gonna have to try to prove that no, the Iranians didn't secretly say Trump should have the Strait of Hormuz, right? So like, what do we do when our president is not attached to reality? And is it because it's embarrassing, is it the markets, or are his advisors telling him things that aren't true and he's too stupid to realize it?
Well, I mean, we see a lot of parallels here that we saw in Gaza. Any attempt at diplomacy was undermined, especially there, by Israel. And we're seeing the same thing happen here. I mean, they're bragging about the number of people in Iranian leadership that they have killed. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a similar pattern of, oh, talks are progressing. Suddenly Israel swoops in and kills the negotiating officials. I mean, I don't think we reach a diplomatic conclusion especially in such a short time frame when you have, I mean, right before we went live, Netanyahu put out a statement in Hebrew, a video saying they're pressing on. So it's two totally different messages, but we know who's really calling the shots. It's Netanyahu. And he's not going to just take orders from Trump. He might, publicly grant deference to Trump, but no, they do their own thing. We saw it in Gaza. Any attempt at a ceasefire deal was undermined by them deliberately. We'll see the same thing here. But yeah, we'll get into it in a more substantive fashion later on in the show, but it's very clear he's saying one thing when the markets are closed and another when they're open. It's baffling to me that traders and people on Wall Street are kind of seems like they're believing him, or at least acting like there's some substance to his markets open language. It just seems totally transparent what he's doing here.
Yeah. So look, that one's the easy explanation. People on Wall Street are way, way dumber than people realize. That is why the market keeps crashing. Crashed 2000, 2008. It's about to crash now. Why? Because the idiots in Wall Street are always like, oh, everyone's buying, buy. Everybody's selling, sell. They're utter morons, lemmings. They just happen to be in finance. That's where the money is. And our media kisses their ass like there's some sort of masters of the universe. No, to believe Donald Trump on this shows by definition you are not bright, okay? And am I saying that about almost all of Wall Street? Hell yeah, I am. That's right. They are not masters of the universe. They're generally not that bright. They go with the crowd every single time, and they're making a massive mistake here. Oh, did I say that when the Dow was over 50,000, as Pam Bondi screamed? And I said, no, it'll go down. And what happened? All the geniuses on Wall Street said it'll go up. Well, it's now at 46,000 some odd and dropping. So they lost 3,000-4,000 off that high, and there's a lot more to go. Okay, but last things here. Yeah, the Israelis kind of panicked, to Jordan's point. And a bunch of Israeli government officials leaked to or talked to the press here in America. They're like, no, there's no negotiations. We have not allowed negotiations. America, shut up and get back to the war, right? And then apparently that didn't work well enough. So then Netanyahu had to do it in Hebrew and tell everybody, don't worry, America's still on our leash and we're still going with this war. And I didn't give Trump, that idiot, any permission to do any peace negotiations. Oh, well, thank you for the clarification on what's actually happening and who actually runs things. So as you'll see here, Netanyahu is right, Trump is wrong. There are no negotiations and the war will continue because Israel wants it to continue.
Yeah, I mean, there was reporting also in the Post, and maybe this will be covered tomorrow, but intelligence officials are saying that there's no real outcome here that results in a clear win with these plainly stated objectives from the Trump administration. They're privately expressing doubt that they can ever completely remove Iran's nuclear capabilities. They're saying at best, maybe there is some resolution and it results in freedom of movement, to borrow a phrase from the Trump administration, in the Strait of Hormuz. And then the Trump administration sees that, finds it sufficient, and declares victory. But they're not like you said, it's clearly like regime change. No, it's all the same people. You mean you're seeing the same thing in Venezuela. The government over the weekend or late last week officially recognized Delcy Rodriguez as the leader of Venezuela, and that has some of the more hawkish conservatives in Congress upset. But all they did was just take out the figurehead. And we're seeing a lot of parallels here. They take out one person or a group of people, the government still remains intact, and they're like, oh, we did it. What that results in, as we've seen time and time again, is an emboldening of people, and it incites even more hatred and anger toward the United States, which manifests sometimes in violent retaliation. So I don't know what they think is going to be the end result here, but I can assure you none of it is good.
Yeah, last thing from me then. So look, Israel made the goals purposely impossible so that you could never end the war. So this is the same thing they did with Gaza. Okay, they have to all surrender. They have to return all the hostages, including all the dead hostages that we bombed, Israel bombed and buried into the ground. But okay, somehow they miraculously did all that. Now they have to give up all their weapons. How do we know when all their weapons are gone? We can't ever know that, said the war is permanent, right? So in Iran, they set up impossible goals that we have to get every single piece of enriched uranium out of Iran. How do we know when we've gotten all the enriched uranium out? Then they tried this absurd goal of we have to get rid of all their roadside bombs. What roadside bombs? There's not even any ground troops yet. What are you talking about? So they make it purposely impossible so that the war is endless. Now, Donald Trump, being an absolute schmuck plus indebted to the Israelis for a number of reasons, went along with that. But since he's so infinitely stupid, what he doesn't understand is, yeah, but brother, when you state the impossible goals and you have to leave, it's gonna look like you lost. And the Israelis are gonna dangle that over your head. Oh yeah, if you leave now, we're gonna have Mark Levin and Jake Tapper and everyone, Axios, and everyone say, loser, weak, couldn't accomplish the goals. Oh, you're a weakling, you better stay in there longer. You better put in ground troops. So that's the game that's being played. And Trump is either a willing participant in that for a number of reasons, or the very useful idiot. And look, if you want to know a constructive answer for how to get out, it's super easy. We make a deal with Iran, don't attack us, don't attack any of our allies in the Gulf, open up the Strait of Hormuz, you're free to go on about your business. You deal with Israel any way you like, Israel deals with you any way they like, not our war, not our problem. Hey, we opened up the Strait of Hormuz, we're back in business, let's go home, okay? Easy peasy. The only people who don't want that are the warmongers in Israel who think America haven't paid a big enough price yet for them to destroy their neighbors. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.